There is no doubt that Jos Verstappen is one of the most despised figures in the Formula 1 paddock, but how bad really is he? I guarantee that you will be shocked by the end of this video, as I will be going over the very dark past of Max Verstappen's father. Without wasting time, let's go to the very beginning. This story starts on the 4th of March 1972. Verstappen started karting at 8 years old and quickly began competing in national events. In 1984, he earned the title of Dutch Junior Champion, and his success continued, securing 2 European championships. Unlike what most people think, he was actually very talented, as in 1991, he moved to car racing and joined the category featuring identical cars, and clinched the championship in his first year. This success led to an opportunity in Formula 3, in which he also excelled, and in 1994, he was signed as a test driver for Benetton. To give a quick summary of that season, he was able to race as a substitute driver in the first 2 races of the season, in which he retired from both. He was then given 8 rounds to compete in after the original driver was rested due to a serious accident. In that season, Jos Verstappen would become known for this very dramatic incident at the German Grand Prix. While entering the pit lane, a very iconic accident would occur.
Into the pits he comes. Very difficult as a driver, to judge. We had a quick glimpse of it from Verstappen. Oh, and fuel. That's the first time we've had a fuel splash. Oh, my goodness me.
Well, now, just let's keep calm. There are a lot of fire officials down there.
He came out unharmed, but it was a shock to many people at the time and pushed for safety reforms. A standout moment of this season occurred when Verstappen secured a 3rd place finish in the upcoming Hungarian Grand Prix. Schumacher played a crucial role by allowing Verstappen to overtake Martin Brundle's stranded McLaren during the last lap. Verstappen later achieved another 3rd place result at the Belgian Grand Prix after Schumacher's disqualification from the race win. Additionally, he managed a respectable 5th place finish at the Portuguese Grand Prix. Although Jos Verstappen showed promise with his 2 podium finishes, these would be the only times he stood on the podium throughout his 107 race career. The majority of his racing journey was characterized by seeking new opportunities with different teams, often coming close but narrowly missing out on more podium finishes. In the world of motorsport, Jos's career led him to meet Sophie Kumpen, who would later become Max Verstappen's mother. She was highly regarded as one of the top go-karters during her time, receiving praise from notable figures like Jenson Button and Christian Horner. In 1995, he was loaned to SimTech by the Benetton team principal. Despite some strong performances, technical difficulties hindered his results, and SimTech went bankrupt after the Monaco Grand Prix. Following this, Verstappen did test driving in the meantime. In 1996, Verstappen joined Footwork and had some decent races, but a severe crash during the Belgian Grand Prix caused a prolonged neck injury. He was initially going to be signed for 1997, the year his son Max was born, but Damon Hill's availability led him to being dropped. He then moved to the Tyrrell team for that season but did not secure any points due to an underpowered engine and financial issues. For 1998, Jos Verstappen made his comeback to Formula 1 during the French Grand Prix, taking over Magnussen C at Stewart Racing. Unfortunately, the car's performance was lacking and the team faced challenges in running 2 competitive cars. Despite Verstappen's return, there was no significant improvement compared to his predecessor's performance. But most importantly, this year would also be known for one of his darkest scandals. The incident took place at a karting track in Belgium during May of that year, where Verstappen and his father were involved in a fight with another group of people who also wanted to use the track. As a result of the altercation, a 45-year-old man suffered a fractured skull. Jos Verstappen had been convicted and was found guilty of assault by a Belgian court, with a possible sentence of over 5 years, but he wouldn't be imprisoned. Instead, he received a 5-year suspended sentence after reaching a financial settlement with the victim. While we would have hoped this would be a one-off event, it was far from that. But returning to his Formula 1 career in 1999, Verstappen became the test driver for the Honda Formula 1 project, but Honda's plans changed, leaving him without a seat again. He later tested for Jordan but did not secure a race seat. And in 2000, he returned to Arrows, where the car's speed allowed for competitive moments, but reliability issues often hampered his chances. He scored points with a 5th place at the Canadian Grand Prix and a 4th place at Monza, displaying talent. He continued with Arrows in 2001, facing mixed results due to a less competitive package and inconsistent qualifying performances, only achieving a point for the team in Austria. In 2002, he signed with Arrows again but was replaced at the last minute. And finally, in 2003, Verstappen joined Minardi, a team at the back of the grid with limited resources. He had a difficult season, with his best result being a 9th place at the Canadian Grand Prix, leaving the team at the end of the year, not wanting to continue in a rearguard role. For the 2004 season, Verstappen was without a drive in Formula 1 and was considered as a replacement for another driver mid-season but couldn't fit in the car. He eventually sought opportunities outside of Formula 1. So, with his Formula 1 career out of the way, let's dive into the controversies regarding this driver. In December of 2008, Verstappen and his wife were effectively separated. During this time, he faced legal proceedings in Belgium on charges of assaulting her. Although he was cleared of the assault charge, he was found guilty of threatening her through text messages and violated a restraining order that had been issued earlier. As a result, he received a suspended prison sentence of 3 months and he was placed on probation. On the 29th of November 2011, there were media reports alleging that Verstappen had abused his ex-girlfriend, facing a maximum of 8 months in prison. However, Verstappen stated that their interaction was merely a discussion and not an act of assault. Then, on January of 2012, Jos is arrested for attempted murder after he allegedly tried to use a car as a weapon to run over his ex-girlfriend, who subsequently became his wife. She dropped the charges and he was released. And most infamously, at the KZ2 World Championship final in Italy, 14-year-old Max Verstappen was competing in shifter karts for the first time. Despite a burnt-out clutch and overheating tires, Max managed to take pole position for the final race. However, an ambitious move to retake the lead resulted in a collision, forcing him to retire from the race. His father, Jos, who was also his mechanic, was furious with the mistake. After the race, Max's father was so upset that he began picking up their gear without speaking to Max. Feeling devastated and responsible for his failure, Max's friends helped him retrieve the car. When Max returned to the pit lane, his father didn't want to talk to him and they left. While in the car, the tearful Max wanted to have an open conversation with his father, but Jos got angry and left him alone in a gas station. Max had to call his mother, who was 5 minutes behind, but Jos was already heading back to bring Verstappen with him. During the long journey back home, Max's father barely spoke to him and didn't communicate for a week afterward. Despite the harsh treatment, Max believes the experience was a valuable lesson and contributed to his growth as a driver. Over time, Max and Jos have maintained a close father and son relationship, with Max acknowledging that the tough upbringing prepared him to handle the challenges in his racing career. Helmut Marko later revealed in an interview that, "I think Max had a very tough time. Jos was a very good teacher, instructor, but I think he was more than hard on this young boy." Jos Verstappen reveals his reasoning in an interview, saying that he wanted his son to succeed, and he went to extreme lengths just to make sure Verstappen was prepared to face the ultimate goals. And finally, in the days between the 2016 Hungarian and German Grand Prix, there were reports that Jos was involved in an incident with his own father, Franz Verstappen. According to a news source, Jos allegedly physically attacked his father in their hometown in the Netherlands. Franz filed a complaint with the police and showed injuries from the incident. However, later, Franz withdrew the complaint, saying that it was a private matter that he wanted to keep within the family. In recent times, Jos Verstappen has been a visible figure in the paddock, often seen supporting his son Max Verstappen during Formula 1 races. He has shown his protective side by speaking out to defend Max, particularly during incidents like the controversial clash with Lewis Hamilton at Silverstone in 2021. While some may view Jos's actions as supportive and protective, others might see it as overly involved or biased. However, his passionate approach has not always been well received by Red Bull Racing. After the 2022 Azerbaijan Grand Prix, where Red Bull didn't allow Max to use his teammate's slipstream in qualifying, and the Monaco Grand Prix, where Sergio Perez received the more favorable strategy, Jos was reminded by the team that it is Red Bull Racing, not Jos Verstappen Racing. These instances highlight the delicate balance between a father's desire to see his son succeed and the team's overall strategy and decisions. Nonetheless, with Max's recent string of victories and stellar performances, Jos Verstappen seems to be content with his son's form and is likely to continue supporting him on his journey in Formula 1 and other endeavors. Verstappen's past actions have certainly been marked by some questionable behavior, as evidenced by previous incidents of anger. However, it is crucial to recognize that people can change and evolve over time. While there may have been moments of turmoil in their relationship, it is also evident that Jos has played a significant role in Max Verstappen's racing career. As his father and early mentor, Jos provided Max with essential support, guidance, and access to the world of motorsport from a young age. Max's immense talent and success in Formula 1 reflect the culmination of his own dedication and hard work, as well as the guidance and experience given by his father. Ultimately, it is up to each viewer to form their own judgment on Jos Verstappen's character and impact on Max's career. Some may view him as a dark figure in the paddock, potentially causing trouble and tarnishing their legacies. On the other hand, others might see him as a father who may have made mistakes in the past, but has evolved and played a crucial role in shaping Max's skill and determination.